I stared at my phone, tears blurring the screen as I typed out the message I'd been composing in my head for the past 3 hours. I stared at my phone, tears blurring the screen as I typed out the message I'd been composing in my head for the past 3 hours. We're done. I can't do this anymore. You chose her, so stay with her. Don't contact me again. Mia. My finger hovered over the send button. 3 years. 3 years of my life wasted on Derek Chin, who I just caught making out with his just a friend coworker in the parking lot of our favorite restaurant. The restaurant where we'd had our first date. Where he told me he loved me for the first time. The irony wasn't lost on me. Do it, my best friend Bailey urged from across my couch, wine glass in hand. Send it. Rip off the band-aid. He doesn't deserve an explanation, but you deserve closure. He was right. I pressed send before I could chicken out, then immediately threw my phone across the room like it had burned me. There. Done. I never have to see Derek's stupid face or hear his stupid excuses again. I grabbed the wine bottle, pouring myself a generous glass. I'm done with men. Completely done. I'm going to become a nun. Do they accept non-religious angry wine drinkers? Pretty sure that's not how nuns work. Bailey retrieved my phone from where it had landed by the TV. But I support your journey into, holy shit. What? I looked up from my aggressive wine drinking. Mia, you sent it to the wrong number. She showed me the screen and my stomach dropped. The number was 1 digit off from Derek's. 1 single digit. And someone had already responded. Wrong number, but I'm intrigued. Who chose who over you? And more importantly, are you free tonight? Unknown. Oh my god. I grabbed the phone. Oh my god, I sent my breakup text to a complete stranger. A complete stranger who's apparently interested. Bailey leaned over my shoulder, reading. That's actually kind of smooth. Are you free tonight? Bold move, mysterious wrong number guy. I can't believe this. I was already typing an apology. I'm so sorry, that wasn't meant for you. Please ignore. His response was immediate. Why would I ignore the most interesting text I've gotten all year? Tell me about him. The guy who was stupid enough to lose you. Okay, he's either a serial killer or really bored. I showed Bailey. Or actually interested. Come on, what's the harm? You're never going to meet him. Might as well vent to a stranger. It's basically therapy. She refilled both our glasses. Plus, he called the mystery guy stupid for losing you. I like him already. Against my better judgment, I typed back. 3 years together. Caught him cheating tonight. With his coworker who was just a friend. But let me guess, he said you were overreacting? That it meant nothing? That she came on to him? I actually laughed through my tears. All of the above. Plus, it just happened, and you're not being fair. Men are predictable. Also idiots. You're better off without him. That's what everyone keeps saying. Doesn't make it hurt less. No, but it makes the revenge fantasy more satisfying. What's his name? I know people who know people. 1 call and his car mysteriously develops engine problems. 2 calls and his credit score tanks. 3 calls and he wakes up in a different state with no memory of how he got there. I stared at the message, unsure if he was joking. Bailey burst out laughing. Okay, he's either actually dangerous or has a great sense of humor. Either way, I'm entertained. He topped off my wine again. Ask him which one. Are you serious, or is this your version of cheering me up? I typed. Little bit of both. But seriously, if you want him inconvenienced, I can make it happen. If you want him to suffer, that requires a bit more planning. If you want him to disappear entirely, we'll need to discuss payment options. You're insane. I'm helpful. There's a difference. So what'll it be? Door number 1, 2, or 3? Despite everything, I was smiling. This complete stranger was ridiculous and possibly dangerous, and definitely not someone I should be texting at midnight while wine drunk and emotionally destroyed. I just want him to regret it. To realize what he lost. To see me happy without him and know he fucked up. Boring but healthy. Fine. We'll do it the mature way. Step 1. Stop crying over someone who doesn't deserve your tears. Step 2. Get dressed up and go somewhere you feel amazing. Step 3. Post photos looking incredible and unbothered. Step 4. Block him on everything so he can't respond or grovel. You've done this before. I've seen it done. Correctly and incorrectly. Trust me, the revenge of living well beats any car keying or social media drama. Plus it's legal, which is always a bonus. Who are you? Someone who appreciates a good wrong number. and someone who hates seeing people waste time on idiots who don't value them. Now, have you eaten today? The question caught me off guard. What? Food? Have you consumed any today? Or have you been crying and drinking wine on an empty stomach? The second one. Terrible self-care. You need to eat. What's nearby? I'll have something delivered. You can't just order me food. I don't even know you. Which is exactly why you should let me. No ulterior motives, no expectations. Just one stranger making sure another stranger doesn't make herself sick with grief and cheap wine. It's expensive wine, thank you very much. Apologies. Expensive wine. The point stands. Give me your address, I'll send food. I should have said no. Should have thanked him for the distraction and stopped responding. But something about his messages, the mix of humor and genuine concern, made me type out my address before I could think better of it. Got it. Food will be there in 30 minutes. Hydrate, get some sleep. Tomorrow you start the process of becoming too good for the idiot who lost you. Why are you being so nice to a stranger? As I can. Because you seem like you need someone to be nice to you right now. And because something tells me you'd do the same for someone else in this situation. He was right about that last part. Thank you. Really. This helped. Anytime. Literally. You have my number now. Use it if you need to. I don't even know your name. And you're Mia based on how you signed that first text. Nice to meet you, Mia. Even under these circumstances. The name fits somehow. Strong, Italian, memorable. Nice to meet you too, Dante. Thanks for being my accidental therapist tonight. My pleasure. Now go wash your face and wait for your food. Mia? He's an idiot. Anyone who cheats on you deserves what's coming to him. The food arrived exactly 30 minutes later. Thai from my favorite place that I hadn't mentioned, which meant he'd either guessed or looked it up based on my address. The delivery guy handed me enough food for 3 people along with a note written in strong masculine handwriting. Hydrate. Sleep. Tomorrow you start forgetting he exists. D. Bailey watched me read the note, her eyes wide. Okay, I take back everything I said about him being a serial killer. That's actually really sweet. Also slightly stalkerish, but mainly sweet. He somehow knew my favorite Thai place. He probably just looked at what was nearby and took a guess. Good guess, obviously. She grabbed one of the containers. Are we eating this or saving it for tomorrow? Eating. Definitely eating. I opened another container, finding my favorite dish. Okay, how did he know this too? Lucky guess number 2? But Bailey looked uncertain. Or he's very good at research. Which is either romantic or terrifying. My phone buzzed. Another text from Dante. You opened it. Good. Eat the pad thai first, it's better fresh. And before you ask, I called the restaurant and told them to send their most popular items. Lucky guess. I took a photo of the spread and sent it back. You sent enough food for a week. Thank you. This is incredibly generous. Consider it an investment in your recovery process. Can't have you forgetting to eat while you're busy becoming your best self. Is this what you do? Rescue people via wrong number? First time actually. You're special. Don't let it go to your head. I fell asleep that night with my phone next to my pillow, the conversation with Dante saved, and for the first time since seeing Derek with that woman, I didn't cry myself to sleep. I woke up to a text from Dante. Morning. How's the hangover? Manageable. The food helped. Thank you again for that. You're welcome. What's the plan today? Wallowing or moving forward? I thought about it. Derek had texted me 17 times overnight, each message more desperate than the last. I'd read them once, felt nothing but annoyance, and decided Dante had been right about blocking him. Moving forward. Starting with blocking my ex on everything. Excellent choice. What else? Grocery shopping. Laundry. Very exciting post-breakup activities. Boring but necessary. After that, I don't know. Probably more wallowing. Wrong answer. After that, you're getting dressed up and meeting me for dinner. I stared at the message, my heart rate picking up. What? Dinner. You me somewhere nice. Consider it part of your recovery process. Can't start moving on without leaving the house. I don't even know you. You could be a serial killer. If I was a serial killer, I had your address last night and did nothing with it. That should count for something. Plus, serial killers don't usually spring for expensive Thai food. Usually. I'm kidding. Mostly. Look, I'll meet you somewhere public, your choice of restaurant. You can bring your friend as backup if it makes you feel safer. One dinner, no expectations, just two people who met under strange circumstances sharing a meal. Why? Because I'm curious about you. Because you seem interesting. And because something tells me you need a distraction from thinking about the idiot who cheated on you. He had a point. And curiosity was definitely winning over caution. Fine. One dinner. But I'm picking the place and bringing Bailey. Deal. Send me the details. I'll be there at 7. I spent the rest of the day oscillating between excitement and terror. What was I thinking, agreeing to meet a stranger from a wrong number text? This was how people ended up on true crime podcast. But something about Dante felt safe. Despite not knowing anything about him except his name and his apparent generosity with Thai food, I trusted him. Which was either intuition or post-breakup insanity. Time would tell which. I can't believe you're actually doing this, Bailey said as she helped me pick an outfit that night. Meeting a man who could literally be anyone. You're coming with me. Safety in numbers. True. And if he's hot, I'm taking credit for encouraging you. She held up a red dress. This one. You look incredible in it, and it says, I'm over my ex and thriving. It says, I'm trying too hard. Exactly. Which is perfect for a first date with a mysterious stranger. She threw the dress at me. Put it on. We leave in an hour. I chose a restaurant I knew well. Upscale but not pretentious, public but with enough ambience for conversation. Safe territory where I could bail if things got weird. Reservations at Luca for 7. Table for 3. Mia. Dante's response. See you there. Mia? Wear something red. I have a feeling you look incredible in red. I looked down at the red dress Bailey had picked out. Okay, that's either psychic or he's watching me, and I'm not sure which is more concerning. Maybe he stalked your social media and saw you wear red before? Bailey suggested, though she looked worried too. I checked my Instagram. Private, no recent photos in red. Nope. Lucky guess number 3 then. This guy is either very intuitive or very creepy. Let's find out which. Day 2 continued. Luca was packed when we arrived at 6:55, the Friday night crowd already well into their drinks and appetizers. I smoothed down my red dress for the 100th time, my nerves making my hands shake slightly. You look amazing, Bailey said, squeezing my hand. And if this guy turns out to be a creep, we bail immediately. I already have my pepper spray. You brought pepper spray to dinner? I brought pepper spray to a dinner with a man we met via wrong number less than 24 hours ago. This is basic safety. He scanned the restaurant. Do you even know what he looks like? No idea. He didn't send a photo. Of course he didn't. Very mysterious and, oh my God. Bailey's grip on my arm tightened. Is that him? I followed her gaze to a corner table where a man sat alone, and my breath caught in my throat. He was watching us, watching me, with an intensity that should have been unsettling but somehow wasn't. Dark hair styled perfectly, sharp cheekbones, a jaw that could cut glass. He wore a black button-down shirt with the sleeves rolled to his forearms, revealing intricate tattoos that wrapped around both arms. He stood as we approached, and I realized he was tall, easily 6'2" or 6'3", with a build that suggested either serious gym time or a physically demanding job. Everything about him screamed danger and money in equal measure. Mia, he said, and his voice was exactly what I'd imagined from his texts. Deep, confident, with a slight Italian accent that made my name sound like a caress. You wore red. Lucky guess. I managed, though my voice came out shakier than I intended. Educated guess. You strike me as someone who looks good in bold colors. His dark eyes tracked over me with obvious appreciation. I was right. And you are. Bailey inserted herself between us, protective mode fully activated. Because my friend here has had a rough couple of days, and if you're planning anything sketchy, you should know I have pepper spray and a black belt. Bailey, I presume. Dante's lips quirked into a smile. I'm Dante Caruso. And I assure you my intentions are purely friendly. The way he said friendly suggested otherwise, but his eyes held genuine warmth. Please sit. I took the liberty of ordering wine. I hope you like Chianti. We settled into our seats, Bailey positioned strategically between Dante and me like a human shield. Up close, he was even more devastating, dark stubble, full lips, and those eyes that seemed to see right through my careful composure. So, I said, needing to break the tension. Dante Caruso. What do you do when you're not rescuing drunk, heartbroken women via wrong number? Various things. Vague but said with enough charm to make it sound mysterious rather than evasive. Import, export some real estate investments. Boring business stuff. Import, export. Bailey's tone was suspicious. That's very vague. It's very boring, he corrected smoothly. Which is why we're not going to talk about it. Tonight is about Mia, not me. Tell me about this Derek who was stupid enough to cheat on you. I took a large sip of wine before answering. 3 years together. I thought we were solid. Turns out I was the only one who thought that. He'd been seeing his coworker for 6 months. 6 months. Dante's expression darkened. That's not a mistake. That's a choice. Multiple choices made repeatedly. That's what I said. Bailey jumped in. One time maybe that's weakness. 6 months? That's just being an asshole. Exactly. Dante's hand moved across the table, covering mine briefly before withdrawing. The contact was brief but electric. So now the question is, how do you want to handle this? Mature high road or satisfying revenge? You gave me the mature option yesterday, I reminded him. That was yesterday. Today I'm more interested in what you actually want versus what you think you should want. He leaned forward slightly. So tell me, Mia. If you could do anything to Derek right now, consequences be damned, what would it be? I thought about it, the wine and his attention making me bolder than usual. I'd want him to see me happy. Not just fake happy for social media, but genuinely happy without him. I'd want him to realize exactly what he lost and know he can never get it back. That's actually very mature, Bailey observed. I was hoping you'd say something involving his car and a baseball bat. That's plan B, Dante said, and something in his tone suggested he wasn't entirely joking. But Mia's plan is better. More effective long-term. So here's what we're going to do. I raised an eyebrow. You need to move on, be happy, show Derek what he's missing. He paused, seeming to consider his words carefully. A distraction. Something interesting. Someone interesting. We help each other. That sounds suspiciously like a proposition. Bailey was still in full protective mode. It's a proposal. Not a proposition. Dante's eyes never left mine. I'll take you out, show you a good time, help you remember what it feels like to be valued. You provide interesting company and help me avoid the numerous women my mother keeps trying to set me up with. Mutually beneficial arrangement. You want to fake date me to avoid your mother's matchmaking? I tried to process this. Not fake. Real dates, real time spent together. Just without the pressure of it being serious or long-term. You're recovering from a relationship. I'm avoiding one. We both win. It was insane. Agreeing to this with a man I'd known for less than 24 hours. But something about Dante made me want to say yes. Made me want to be bold and reckless for once in my carefully planned life. What's the catch? I asked. No catch. Just honesty. I like you, Mia. You're interesting and real and not trying to impress me or get something from me. That's rare. He took a sip of his wine. So what do you say? Want to spend the next few weeks having fun and forgetting Derek exists? Yes, I heard myself say. Yes, let's do it. Bailey kicked me under the table. Can we talk privately for a second? Of course. Dante stood. I'll give you a moment. Order whatever you want. It's all taken care of. Once he was out of earshot, Bailey grabbed my hands. Mia, are you insane? You don't know this guy. I know. It's completely crazy. But Bailey, when was the last time I did something spontaneous? Something just for me. I looked over at where Dante stood by the bar, somehow making even that look elegant. He's offering me a distraction, a way to move on. Why shouldn't I take it? Because he could be dangerous. Because he's clearly hiding something with that vague import, export answer. Because you just got out of a relationship with a man who cheated on me for 6 months. I squeezed her hands. I'm not looking for love, Bailey. I'm looking for fun. For feeling wanted and valued instead of betrayed and stupid. Can't I just have that? She studied me for a long moment, then sighed. Fine. But I'm running a background check on him. And you're sharing your location with me at all times. And if anything feels wrong, you call me immediately. Deal. Dante returned with fresh drinks and an easy smile. Everything okay? Everything's fine, I said. Though fair warning, My best friend is going to background check you. Smart friend. She'll find I'm clean. Mostly. That dangerous smile again. Now let's order. I'm starving and I want to hear more about what Mia does when she's not sending breakup texts to wrong numbers. Dinner passed in a blur of good food, better wine, and conversation that flowed surprisingly easily. Dante was charming without being smarmy, interested without being invasive, funny without trying too hard. He told stories about growing up in an Italian family that had me laughing until I cried, asked thoughtful questions about my work as a graphic designer, and managed to make even Bailey warm up to him by the end of the night. I like you, Bailey announced halfway through her third glass of wine. You're good for her. Just don't make me regret saying that. I wouldn't dream of it, Dante assured her. Mia's lucky to have a friend who's this protective. When the check came, he paid before I could even reach for my purse. Not negotiable, he said when I protested. Consider it part of the arrangement. I take you out, I pay. That's how this works. That's very old-fashioned. I'm Italian. We're traditional about certain things. He stood, offering his hand. Walk you to your car? Outside, the night air was cool and crisp. Bailey walked slightly ahead, giving us space but staying close enough to intervene if needed. I meant what I said in there, Dante said, his hand finding the small of my back. You're interesting, Mia. I'd like to see you again. Tomorrow if you're free. Tomorrow's Saturday. Don't you have import-export things to do? There was an edge to my voice, curiosity mixed with suspicion about his vague job description. Nothing that can't wait. We stopped at my car and he turned to face me fully. Lunch tomorrow. Somewhere casual. I'll pick you up at noon. You don't know where I live. You gave me your address yesterday for the food delivery. His smile was wicked. I have an excellent memory. That's slightly creepy. That's very practical. He reached out, tucking a strand of hair behind my ear in a gesture that was intimate without being presumptuous. Say yes, Mia. Let me show you a good time. Let me help you forget Derek exists. I should have said no. Should have taken time to think about this, to run that background check Bailey mentioned, to be sensible and cautious. Instead I said, yes. Noon tomorrow. But Dante. Yes. If this is some elaborate scheme to murder me and wear my skin, I'm going to be very disappointed. His laugh was genuine and warm. I promise not to murder you or wear your skin. Those are definitely off the table. Good to know where you draw the line. He leaned in and for a moment I thought he might kiss me. Instead, he pressed his lips to my forehead in a gesture that was somehow more intimate than a real kiss would have been. Good night, Mia. Sleep well. Tomorrow we start the process of making you forget Derek ever existed. In bed that night, I stared at my phone at Dante's last message. Thank you for taking a chance on me. I promise to make it worth your while. Sweet dreams. D. My phone buzzed with an incoming email. Bailey's background check, she'd actually done it. I opened it, scanning the results. Dante Caruso, 38 years old. Owner of multiple businesses across the city. Real estate portfolio worth millions. No criminal record, though his name appeared in several sealed case files that required higher clearance to access. The last line of the report made my breath catch. Subject has known connections to organized crime. Proceed with extreme caution. I should have been terrified. Should have blocked his number and never looked back. Instead, I found myself smiling. Dangerous distraction indeed. Day 3. I woke up to 17 missed calls from Derek and one text from Dante. Good morning. Coffee order? I'll pick it up on the way to get you. I ignored Derek's calls. I'd blocked him on social media last night but apparently hadn't blocked his number yet, and focused on Dante's message instead. Iced vanilla lot extra shot. How do you know I need coffee before being functional? Lucky guess number 4. See you at noon. Wear something comfortable. Bailey called while I was trying to decide between jeans and a sundress. Please tell me you read the background check. I read it. I put her on speaker, holding up both outfit options in the mirror. And you're still going out with him? Mia, it said organized crime. It said connections to organized crime. That's different. I chose the sundress. Casual but still cute. Lots of people in this city have connections to things. Doesn't mean they're directly involved. That's rationalization and you know it. But her voice was more concerned than angry. Just promise me you'll be careful. Keep your location shared, check in every hour, and for God's sake, Don't go anywhere private with him until we know more. I promise. Though honestly, if he wanted to hurt me, he had my address yesterday and did nothing except send Thai food. That has to count for something. Serial killers can be patient. You really need to stop watching those documentaries. I applied minimal makeup, going for the natural look. He's picking me up in an hour. I'll text you when we get to wherever we're going. You better. Mia? If he does turn out to be a mobster or something, at least make sure he's a hot mobster worth the risk. Have you seen him? Definitely worth the risk. Dante arrived at exactly noon, driving a sleek black car that probably cost more than my annual salary. He got out to open my door, old-fashioned in a way that should have felt dated but somehow felt thoughtful, and handed me an iced coffee. Vanilla latte extra shot as requested. He was wearing dark jeans and a black t-shirt that did absolutely nothing to hide his muscular build or the tattoos that covered his arms. In the daylight I could see more details. Italian script, geometric patterns, what looked like a family crest on his forearm. You're staring, he observed with amusement. Yes. They're extensive. Family tradition. Each one tells a story. He started the car and I noticed more ink on his hands, rings of script around his fingers. Maybe I'll tell you about them someday. Someday implies this is going to last beyond a few dates. I'm optimistic. He pulled into traffic with practiced ease. How was your night? Any regrets about agreeing to this? I thought about Bailey's warning, about the background check, about the sealed case files. Should I have regrets? Depends. Are you the type to let fear of possibilities prevent you from experiencing something potentially amazing? He glanced at me. Because I get the feeling you've been playing it safe for a while. Being careful, following rules, avoiding risk. How's that worked out for you? I ended up with a cheating boyfriend, so not great. Exactly. So maybe it's time to try something different. Be reckless. Take risks. See what happens when you stop playing it safe. His hand found mine on the console between us. I'm not saying I'm not dangerous, Mia. I am. But not to you. Never to you. That's exactly what someone dangerous would say. True. But I'm also being honest. He squeezed my hand gently before releasing it. Bailey ran a background check on me, didn't she? I didn't bother denying it. How did you know? Because she's a good friend who cares about your safety. I'd be disappointed if she hadn't. He turned down a street I didn't recognize. What did it say? That you're very wealthy and have connections to organized crime. I watched his face carefully. Care to elaborate on that second part? My family has been in this city for 4 generations. We know people, have relationships with various organizations. Some legitimate, some less so. I don't personally engage in criminal activity, but I can't control who my relatives associate with. Carefully worded, probably rehearsed. Does that scare you? It should, I admitted. But honestly, after 3 years with Derek, a little danger sounds refreshing. His laugh was surprised and genuine. That's either very brave or very reckless. You said to be reckless. I'm trying it out. I like it. I like you reckless. He pulled into a parking lot. A marina. Come on. I have something to show you. The marina was beautiful, boats of varying sizes bobbing gently in their slips. Dante led me down a dock to a sleek white yacht that screamed money and luxury. This is yours. I asked, though I already knew the answer. One of my investments. I thought we could take it out for the afternoon. Nothing too far, just cruising along the coast. Private, peaceful, perfect for getting to know each other without interruption. He helped me aboard. Unless you'd prefer somewhere more public? I should have said yes. Should have insisted on staying where there were witnesses. Instead, I heard myself say, this is perfect. The yacht was as luxurious inside as it looked from outside. Leather seating, a full kitchen, a bedroom I tried not to think too hard about. Dante handed me a life jacket with an amused smile. Safety first. Can't have you falling overboard on our second date. Is that what this is? A date. What else would it be? He secured his own life jacket, then moved to start the engine. You, me, beautiful weather, a boat. Definitely a date. As we pulled away from the dock, I texted Bailey our location and a photo of the yacht. Her response was immediate. Are you insane? You're on a boat in the middle of the ocean with a man connected to organized crime. This is literally the plot of every thriller ever. Relax. I'm fine. He's being a perfect gentleman. We'll check in every hour. You better. I already have 911 pre-dialed. I put my phone away and moved to where Dante stood at the wheel, the wind whipping his dark hair, sunglasses hiding his eyes. He looked like something out of a magazine, dangerous and beautiful and completely in his element. You know how to drive a boat? I asked, immediately feeling stupid for the question. I know how to do a lot of things. He slowed the yacht once we were far enough from shore, then engaged the autopilot. Come here. Let me show you. He guided me to stand in front of him, his arms bracketing me as he showed me the controls. I was hyper-aware of his body against my back, the heat of him, the way his breath stirred my hair when he spoke. This controls speed. This is steering. This is the autopilot which we're using now so I can focus on you instead of not crashing. His hands settled on my hips, warm through the thin fabric of my sundress. Tell me something, Mia. Why did you really say yes to this? To your fake dating arrangement or to coming on your boat? Both. I thought about it, about Derek's betrayal, about 3 years of playing it safe and following rules. About being boring and predictable and easy to cheat on. Because I'm tired of being careful. Tired of doing everything right and still getting hurt. Because you're interesting and dangerous and everything I've been told to avoid. And because something about you makes me want to be reckless. Good answer. His lips brushed my neck, not quite a kiss but close enough to make me shiver. Want to know why I said yes? Because you need someone to help you avoid your mother's matchmaking? That's the excuse. The truth. He turned me to face him and I had to tilt my head back to meet his eyes. Because when you sent that text, when I read the pain and anger and determination in your words, something in me recognized something in you. Someone who's been hurt but refuses to stay down. Someone strong enough to walk away from something that wasn't serving them. That's rare, Mia. And beautiful. And I wanted to know you. That's very smooth for someone who claims he doesn't date. I don't. Not seriously, not in years. But something about you made me want to try. His hand came up to cup my face. I'm going to kiss you now. If you don't want that, tell me to stop. I didn't tell him to stop. His kiss was nothing like I expected. Not aggressive or demanding but patient and thorough. He kissed me like he had all the time in the world, like learning the taste and feel of me was the only thing that mattered. His hand slid into my hair, angling my head to deepen the kiss, and I melted into him. When we finally broke apart, we were both breathing hard. That was... I couldn't find words. Yeah. He rested his forehead against mine. It was... We spent the afternoon on the yacht, talking and laughing and occasionally kissing in ways that made me forget Derek had ever existed. Dante was charming and funny and surprisingly easy to talk to. He asked questions that showed genuine interest, shared stories that made me laugh, and touched me with a casualness that suggested comfort rather than presumption. Tell me about the tattoos, I said, tracing the script on his forearm. You said they tell stories. This one, he indicated the family crest, is my family name and legacy. A reminder of where I come from. These, his fingers, are the names of people I've lost. My father, my grandfather, a cousin who died too young. This, he touched his chest through his shirt, is my mother's favorite prayer. She made me promise to have it tattooed over my heart. You're close with your mother. Very. She drives me crazy with the matchmaking, but she means well. She just wants me to be happy, settled, give her grandchildren. He smiled ruefully. I keep telling her I'm not ready, but she thinks I've been mourning too long. Mourning? My fiancé died 4 years ago. Car accident. His expression shuddered briefly. I haven't been serious about anyone since. Haven't wanted to be. Until... He trailed off, looking at me. Until a wrong number text from a heartbroken stranger? Until you. He pulled me close. You make me want to try again, Mia. Want to feel something beyond just existing. That's terrifying and exciting in equal measure. I know the feeling. I pressed a kiss to his jaw. This is probably crazy, right? We barely know each other. Completely crazy. But sometimes the crazy choices are the ones worth making. His phone buzzed and he glanced at it with a frown. I need to take this. Business. Give me 5 minutes. He moved to the other side of the yacht, speaking in rapid Italian that was too fast for me to follow. But I caught certain words. Problem handled tomorrow. When he returned, his expression was carefully neutral. Everything okay? I asked. Fine. Just a work issue that needs attention tomorrow. He settled beside me. But today is about you. About us. Work can wait. As the sun started to set, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink, Dante guided the yacht back to shore. The afternoon had been perfect. Too perfect, almost. Like a fantasy I'd wake up from at any moment. Thank you for today, I said as he helped me off the boat. This was unexpected. Good unexpected or bad unexpected? Very good unexpected. I stood on tiptoe to kiss him. When do I see you again? Tomorrow night. Dinner somewhere nice. I want to show you off. His hand found mine. And Mia? Delete Derek's number. Block him completely. He doesn't get to have any piece of you anymore. Understood. The command should have bothered me. Instead, it felt like protection. Understood. On the drive home, my phone buzzed with a text from Derek. We need to talk. I made a mistake. Please just hear me out. I showed Dante the message at a red light. His jaw tightened. What do you want me to do about him? He asked quietly. Nothing illegal, I said quickly. That's not what I asked. His eyes met mine. Do you want him gone? Scared? Hurt? Just say the word, Mia. He hurt you. That requires consequences. The casual offer of violence should have terrified me. That I felt protected. Just make him leave me alone. Whatever it takes to make him understand I'm done. Consider it handled. He pulled into my apartment complex. I'll call you tomorrow. Sleep well, beautiful. That night, Derek's number mysteriously stopped working. When Bailey checked for me, she found his social media accounts had been hacked. His car had a boot on it for unpaid tickets that hadn't existed yesterday, and his work computer had been infected with a virus that shut down all his files. Did you do this? I texted Dante. Do what? You know what? I have no idea what you're talking about. But hypothetically, if someone were to discourage your ex from contacting you, wouldn't that be a good thing? Hypothetically, yes. Then hypothetically, you're welcome. Sweet dreams, Mia. I fell asleep smiling, feeling safer than I had in years. Day 7. 1 week. That's how long it took for Dante Caruso to completely upend my life. 7 days of dinners at restaurants where reservations required months of waiting, but he somehow always had a table. 7 days of morning texts that made me smile before I'd even had coffee. 7 days of feeling desired and valued in ways Derek had never managed in 3 years. 7 days of falling for a man who was definitely dangerous and possibly in organized crime. You're glowing, Bailey observed during our weekly brunch. It's disgusting and I'm happy for you and also deeply concerned. I know it's fast. Fast? Mia, a week ago you were crying over Derek. Now you're dating a man who may or may not be a mobster and looking at him like he hung the moon. She took a sip of her mimosa. I'm not judging. Well, I'm judging a little. But mostly I'm worried. I'm being careful. Are you? Because from where I'm sitting, you're diving headfirst into something that could be very dangerous. Her expression softened. I just don't want to see you get hurt again. Or worse. Dante would never hurt me. You don't know that. You've known him a week, Mia. 1 week. People can hide who they really are for way longer than that. He had a point. But something about Dante felt right in a way nothing with Derek ever had. Like pieces of a puzzle finally clicking together. I know it sounds crazy. Trust me, I know. But Bailey, when I'm with him, I feel alive. He makes me laugh, makes me feel beautiful, makes me want to take risks I've spent my whole life avoiding. I met her eyes. Isn't that worth something? It's worth something. Just promise me you'll be smart about this. No moving in together after 2 weeks. No getting engaged after a month. No doing anything that makes me have to identify your body. That's very dark. That's very realistic given his background. But she was smiling. Okay, fine. I support this reckless phase you're going through. Just keep me updated and share your location at all times. My phone buzzed. Dante, missing you. What are you doing tonight? Brunch with Bailey. No plans after. Change of plans. Pack a bag. We're going away for the weekend. I showed Bailey the message. He wants me to go away with him for the weekend. Away where? He didn't say. And you're going to go? To an undisclosed location with a man you've known for 7 days. At my expression, she sighed. Of course you are. At least tell me where once you know so I can send the police to the right place when you inevitably get murdered. Where are we going? I texted back. It's a surprise. But somewhere beautiful and private. Just you and me. Say yes, Mia. Yes. What should I pack? Something comfortable and something fancy. I'll pick you up at 5. He's being deliberately mysterious, Bailey observed. That's either very romantic or very serial killer. You need to stop with the serial killer thing. And you need to start being more cautious. But she was already helping me plan outfits. If you're going to do this, at least look amazing doing it. Dante arrived at exactly 5, driving a different car this time. A sleek silver sports car that probably cost more than my student loans. He looked casual but devastating in dark jeans and a fitted black Henley that showed off his build and his tattoos. Ready for an adventure? He asked, taking my bag and loading it in the trunk. Ready as I'll ever be. Are you going to tell me where we're going? And ruin the surprise? Never. He opened my door with that old-fashioned courtesy that shouldn't be attractive but absolutely was. Trust me, Mia. You're going to love it. The drive took 2 hours heading north along the coast. We talked about everything and nothing. My design work, his businesses, music preferences, embarrassing childhood stories. With every mile, I felt myself relaxing further, the comfortable intimacy between us growing. Can I ask you something? I said as the sun started to set. And will you give me an honest answer? Depends on the question. But his tone was serious. Are you in the Mafia? He didn't answer immediately, his hands tightening slightly on the steering wheel. What would you do if I said yes? I don't know. That's why I'm asking. I need to know what I'm getting into, Dante. What being with you actually means. Fair enough. He pulled off the highway onto a smaller road. The truth? My family has connections. Deep connections to organizations that operate outside the law. I don't personally engage in criminal activity, but I benefit from the protection and resources those connections provide. Does that make me complicit? Probably. Does it make me a member? No. But it makes me adjacent enough that the distinction doesn't matter to most people. So you're mob adjacent. That's one way to put it. He glanced at me. Does that change things? Between us? I thought about it, really thought about it. The smart thing would be to say yes to end this before I got in too deep. But when I looked at Dante, I didn't see a criminal. I saw someone who'd been nothing but kind and generous and protective since the moment I'd accidentally texted him. No, I decided. It doesn't change things. But I need you to promise me something. Anything. If your world gets dangerous, if being with you puts me in actual danger, you tell me. You don't hide it or try to protect me from the truth. I need honesty, Dante. That's non-negotiable. Deal. Complete honesty. He brought my hand to his lips, pressing a kiss to my knuckles. And Mia? Thank you. For what? For not running. Most women would have by now. I'm not most women. I've noticed. His smile was warm. We're almost there. The somewhere turned out to be a private beach house. All glass and modern architecture, perched on a cliff overlooking the ocean. It was stunning and remote and absolutely the kind of place someone could murder you without witnesses. This is yours. I asked as he parked. Borrowed from a friend. I thought we could use somewhere private to really get to know each other. No interruptions, no expectations. Just us. He came around to open my door. But if you're not comfortable staying here, we can go to a hotel. Your choice. I looked at the house, at Dante's hopeful expression, and made a decision. This is perfect. The interior was as beautiful as the exterior. Minimalist furniture, floor-to-ceiling windows showing the ocean. A kitchen that would make any chef weep with joy. Dante gave me a tour, showing me the guest room where I could stay if I wanted my own space, before leading me to the master bedroom with its massive bed and private balcony. I'm sleeping here, he said, setting his bag down. You're welcome to join me or take the guest room. No pressure either way. I just want you comfortable. I'll take the guest room. For now, I added silently. But thank you for the option. Of course. He moved closer, his hands finding my waist. I'm going to make dinner. You want to help or relax? Help. I'm good in the kitchen. I bet you're good at a lot of things. The heat in his voice made my stomach flip. Come on. Let's cook. We made pasta from scratch. His nana's recipe, he explained, passed down through generations. Working beside him in the kitchen felt natural and intimate. Our movements synchronized like we'd done this 100 times before. You're good at this, I observed as he rolled out dough with practiced ease. Italian family. Cooking is survival. He dusted flour on my nose playfully. Plus, I find it relaxing. When work gets stressful, I come here and cook. Reminds me there's more to life than business and obligations. What else do you do to relax? This. Spending time with someone interesting. His eyes met mine. You're the first person I've brought here, Mia. This place is my sanctuary. The fact that I wanted you here, wanted to share it with you, that means something. What does it mean? It means I'm falling for you. Simple, direct, devastating. I know it's fast. I know we've only known each other a week. But I can't help how I feel. You've become important to me in a very short time. Dante. You don't have to say it back. I'm not asking you to. I just wanted you to know where I stand. He turned back to the pasta. Now set the table. Dinner's almost ready. We ate on the balcony, the sound of waves crashing below, stars beginning to emerge in the darkening sky. The food was incredible, the wine was perfect, and the company was even better. Tell me about your family, Dante said over dessert. You never mentioned them. Not much to tell. Dad left when I was 8. Mom remarried when I was 12 to a guy who was fine but not really interested in being a father figure. I have a half-brother I barely know. We're not close. I swirled wine in my glass. Bailey's more family than my actual family ever was. That's why you're so close. She chose you and you chose her back. He reached across the table, finding my hand. I get that. My biological family is complicated, lots of expectations and obligations. But the family I've chosen, the people I trust, they're everything to me. Am I part of that? Your chosen family? Getting there. His thumb traced circles on my palm. You want to be? I think so. But Dante, I need to know, what happened to your fiancée? You mentioned she died, but you didn't say how. His expression shuddered slightly. Car accident. She was driving to meet me for dinner when someone ran a red light and hit her. Died on impact. His voice was carefully controlled. I blamed myself for a long time. If she hadn't been coming to see me, if I'd picked her up instead of asking her to drive. It wasn't your fault. Logically, I know that. But grief isn't logical. He finished his wine. Her death changed me. Made me more careful about who I let close. Made me realize that in my world, caring about someone makes them a target. That's why I haven't been serious about anyone since. Too dangerous. But you're willing to risk it with me? You're different. Worth the risk. He stood, pulling me to my feet. Come on. I want to show you something. He led me down a path to the beach where waves lapped gently at the shore. The moon was full, casting silver light across the water, making everything look magical and surreal. This is why I love this place, Dante said, pulling me close. It's peaceful. Reminds me there's beauty in the world beyond the ugliness I deal with daily. Your work is ugly? Sometimes. Dealing with people's worst impulses, cleaning up messes, maintaining order through force when necessary. It takes a toll. His arms tightened around me. But then I met you and suddenly everything felt lighter. Like maybe there was something good waiting for me if I was brave enough to reach for it. That's very poetic for a mob-adjacent businessman. I contain multitudes. He turned me to face him. Mia, I know this is fast. I know we're moving at a pace that probably isn't healthy or smart. But I can't bring myself to slow down. Can't make myself be cautious when everything in me is screaming to claim you, to make you mine in every way possible. So claim me. The words were out before I could think them through. I'm tired of being careful. Tired of overthinking everything. I want to be reckless with you. His kiss was claiming and desperate, his hands tangling in my hair as he backed me against a large rock. I wrapped my arms around his neck, pressing closer, needing more contact, more connection, more everything. Say it again, he demanded against my lips. Tell me you want this. I want this. I want you. I pulled him closer. Take me back to the house, Dante. Show me what being reckless feels like. Day 7 continued. The walk back to the beach house felt like an eternity. Dante's hand never left mine, his grip tight with barely restrained need. The moment we were through the door, he pulled me against him, his mouth finding mine with an intensity that stole my breath. Last chance to change your mind, he murmured against my lips, even as his hands roamed my back, my waist, leaving trails of heat everywhere he touched. Because once we do this, Mia, you're mine. Completely. I won't be able to let you go. I don't want you to let me go. I reached up, pulling him down for another kiss. I want this. Want you. Stop being noble and take me to bed. His laugh was dark and promising. As you wish. He swept me into his arms, actually swept me up like something out of a romance novel, and carried me to the master bedroom. The moonlight streaming through the windows painted everything in silver, making the moment feel dreamlike and surreal. He set me down beside the bed, his hands finding the hem of my dress. You're beautiful, he said, his voice rough with want. I've been imagining this since the moment I saw you in that red dress. But the reality is so much better than the fantasy. You've been fantasizing about me? I reached for his shirt, needing to feel his skin against mine. Constantly. You have no idea what you do to me, Mia. He helped me remove his shirt, revealing the full extent of his tattoos. Intricate designs covering his chest and ribs, each one telling a story I wanted to learn. I can't think straight when I'm around you. Can't focus on anything except how much I want you. Then have me. I pulled him closer, needing to feel his heat, his weight, his everything. I'm right here. I'm yours. He made love to me slowly, thoroughly, learning every inch of my body with patient attention. He was gentle when I needed gentle, demanding when I needed more, reading my responses with an intuition that suggested either extensive experience or genuine connection. Probably both. Afterward, lying tangled in sheets with his arms around me, I felt something shift inside me. This wasn't just physical. Wasn't just a rebound or a distraction from Derek. This was real and terrifying and absolutely what I'd been missing my entire life. What are you thinking? Dante murmured against my hair, his fingers tracing lazy patterns on my bare shoulder. That I'm probably in trouble. I turned to face him. That this is happening too fast and I should be more careful and I don't care. That you're dangerous and complicated and exactly what I need. That's very honest. His hand cupped my face. Want to know what I'm thinking? Always. That I'm completely fucked. That I let you in way too fast and now I can't imagine my life without you in it. That I'd burn the entire world down to keep you safe and happy. His eyes held mine, fierce and vulnerable. That I love you, Mia. Completely, irrevocably, probably too much for someone I've known a week. My breath caught. Dante. I know it's insane. I know normal people don't fall in love this fast. But nothing about us has been normal from the start. Why should this be any different? His thumb traced my lower lip. You don't have to say it back. I just needed you to know. I love you too. The words felt right even though they shouldn't have. I think I started falling for you the moment you offered to have Derek's car mysteriously develop engine problems. Maybe before that. This is crazy and fast and probably a terrible idea, but I don't care. I love you. His kiss was claiming and tender in equal measure. Wine, he murmured against my lips. You're mine now, Mia. No going back. Yours, I agreed. Completely. We spent the rest of the weekend in our private paradise. Cooking together, swimming in the ocean, making love until we were both exhausted and satisfied. Dante was attentive and generous, constantly touching me like he needed to confirm I was real, like he couldn't quite believe I was there with him. On Sunday morning as we made breakfast together, my phone rang. Unknown number. Don't answer it, Dante said, his voice sharp. Unknown numbers are never good news. But curiosity won. I answered. Hello. Mia? Derek. Please don't hang up. I hung up immediately. How did he get a new number? You said you handled it. Dante's expression went cold and dangerous. I did. You must have gotten a burner phone. Give me a minute. He stepped outside, making a call in rapid Italian. When he returned 5 minutes later, his expression was carefully neutral. It's handled. He won't be calling again. Mia? I need to tell you something about Derek. Something I found out a few days ago but didn't want to ruin our weekend. My stomach dropped. What? He's not just your ex. He's connected to some people who are problematic for me. His father does business with a rival organization. Not high level but connected enough to be concerning. Wait, you're saying Derek is involved in organized crime? Not directly. But his family has ties. Which means your relationship with him, your breakup, it puts you in a complicated position. People in my world might see you as a way to get information, leverage, access. He pulled me close. That's why I had to handle Derek so aggressively. It wasn't just about him bothering you. It was about removing a potential threat. You should have told me this sooner. I know. But I didn't want to scare you away before you understood that I'd protect you. That being with me, despite the complications, is safer than being alone and vulnerable. His hands framed my face. I'm sorry I kept this from you. But I'm not sorry for protecting you. What else haven't you told me? I pulled back slightly. You promised honesty, Dante. What else are you hiding? He was quiet for a long moment. My real job. What I actually do beyond the vague import-export explanation. Tell me. All of it. I run security operations for several families in the city. When there's a problem, someone threatens territory, breaks agreements, steps out of line, I handle it. Sometimes that's negotiation. Sometimes it's intimidation. Sometimes it's worse. He met my eyes steadily. I'm what's called a fixer. I make problems disappear. And yes, sometimes that involves violence. Sometimes it involves making people disappear entirely. You're an enforcer. The reality of what he was saying sank in. You hurt people for a living. I protect people for a living. The hurting is just sometimes necessary to accomplish that. His voice was firm. I won't apologize for what I do, Mia. It's kept my family safe, kept order in chaos, prevented wars that would have killed innocent people. But I understand if it's too much. If knowing what I really am makes you want to walk away. I should have walked away. Should have been horrified, disgusted, terrified. But all I felt was a strange sort of understanding. Dante had been honest about his world being dangerous. This was just the specific flavor of that danger. I need time to process this, I said finally. I need to think about what this means, about whether I can accept this part of your life. Take all the time you need. He kissed my forehead. But Mia, while you're thinking, remember this, I would never hurt you. Never let anyone else hurt you. Everything I do, everything I am, I'm offering to put at your service. To protect you, care for you, give you the life you deserve. That doesn't change just because you know the ugly details now. We drove back to the city in heavy silence. When he dropped me off at my apartment, he walked me to my door, his hand never leaving my back. Call me when you're ready, he said. Or don't call me at all if you decide this is too much. I'll understand. But Mia, I meant what I said. I love you. That's not changing regardless of what you decide. I went inside and immediately called Bailey. I need to tell you something about Dante. Oh God, he is in the Mafia, isn't he? Worse. He's a fixer. He handles problems for multiple crime families. Which means he's more connected than we thought and definitely more dangerous. And you're considering staying with him. Not a question. I love him, Bailey. I know that sounds insane after a week, but I do. And he loves me. He's been honest about what he is, what his world involves. The question is whether I can accept it. Can you? Can you be with someone who hurts people for a living? Who might come home with blood on his hands? Bailey's voice was gentle. I'm not judging either way. But you need to be honest with yourself about what you can actually live with. I thought about the weekend. About feeling safe and cherished and valued. About Dante's gentleness with me despite the violence he was capable of. About the way he looked at me like I was precious. I think I can, I said slowly. Not because I approve of violence, but because I understand that his world operates by different rules. And because he's offering me protection and devotion and love without conditions. That's worth something. Then I support you. But Mia, please be careful. Love makes us stupid. Don't let love blind you to real danger. That night, lying alone in my bed, I stared at my phone. At Dante's last message. I miss you already. Sleep well, beautiful. I'll be here whenever you're ready. I typed and deleted 17 different responses before settling on. I miss you too. Can we talk tomorrow? His response was immediate. Anytime. I'll come to you. Name the time and place. My apartment. 7 p.m. Look, I'll bring wine. Mia, thank you. For not running. For giving this a real chance. It means everything to me. I fell asleep with my phone clutched in my hand, already planning what to cook for the man I'd somehow fallen completely in love with in 7 impossible days. Day 8. Dante arrived at exactly 7 with wine and flowers and an expression that suggested he'd been as nervous about this conversation as I was. I let him in, accepting the roses with a smile that felt shaky around the edges. Thank you for these. They're beautiful. Not as beautiful as you. He followed me to the kitchen, watching as I put the roses in water. Something smells amazing. Chicken marsala. My signature dish. I stirred the sauce, needing something to do with my hands. Wine's already poured. We should talk before we eat. Okay. He settled at my small kitchen table, looking entirely too large for the space. I'm ready. Ask me anything. I took a deep breath, organizing my thoughts. I spent all night thinking about what you told me. About what you really do. And I realized I need to understand the full scope of it. Not just vague explanations. Real details. What do you want to know? Everything. Have you killed people? Yes. No hesitation. Not recently, not often, but yes. When negotiations fail and violence is the only language someone understands. Do you enjoy it? No. I'm good at it, but I don't enjoy it. It's necessary sometimes to prevent worse violence. But it's not something I take pleasure in. What about the people you hurt who don't die? What happens to them? They learn lessons. Sometimes through intimidation, sometimes through financial ruin, sometimes through physical pain. The method depends on the situation and the severity of what they've done. And Derek? What exactly did you do to him? Dante's expression hardened. I had his car impounded for fabricated violations. Had his work computer infected with a virus that exposed some questionable financial dealings he'd been hiding. Had my lawyers file harassment charges that will follow him for years. And I made it very clear that if he contacts you again, the consequences will be much worse. You destroyed his life. I removed a threat. There's a difference. His eyes held mine. He hurt you, Mia. That alone justified consequences. But when I found out about his family's connections, he became a liability. I handled him the only way I could, thoroughly and permanently. I should be horrified. But you're not. He stood, moving closer. Because you understand that in my world, mercy is weakness. That protecting the people I love requires hard choices and harder actions. That sometimes being good means doing bad things to bad people. He was right. I understood all of that. Which probably said something terrible about me. I can accept what you do, I said finally. On one condition. You keep that part of your life separate from me. You don't bring the violence home. You don't put me in danger because of your work. And you're honest with me when things get complicated. Deal. He pulled me close. I promise, Mia. You'll never see that side of me. When I'm with you, I'm just Dante. The man who loves you, who wants to build a life with you. The other stuff, that stays separate. Okay. I rested my head against his chest, listening to his heartbeat. Then I'm in. Completely. For whatever this is, wherever it goes. I love you. He lifted my chin to kiss me. God, I love you so much. I love you too. I kissed him back. Now let's eat before dinner gets cold. Day 15. 2 weeks. That's how long it took for my life to completely transform. I'd moved most of my things into Dante's penthouse. He'd insisted, and I'd stopped pretending I wanted to keep my tiny apartment. Bailey had been skeptical but supportive, making me promise to maintain my independence even while living with him. Just because you're shacking up with a mob enforcer doesn't mean you lose yourself, she'd said while helping me pack. You're still Mia. You still have your own life, your own work, your own identity. I know that. Do you? Because you've been spending every waking moment with him. When was the last time you worked on a design project? He had a point. I'd been so consumed with Dante that my freelance work had fallen to the wayside. I'll get back to it. I just needed time to adjust to everything. Everything being that you're living with a man you've known 2 weeks who admits to killing people for a living? Bailey's voice was gentle but firm. Mia, I love you. But please don't lose yourself in this relationship. No matter how intense and romantic it feels. Her warning echoed in my head as I set up my design station in Dante's, our, home office. He'd insisted I take the space, had even bought me a new computer and professional-grade equipment without asking. You need to work, he'd said when I protested the expense. Your talent deserves the best tools. Consider it an investment in your future. Our future, I'd noticed. Not mine. Ours. Like he'd already decided we were permanent. My phone rang, interrupting my thoughts. Unknown number again. I'd learned to be wary of those. Hello. Mia Chin. A woman's voice, cold and professional. This is Victoria Kane. Derek's mother. We need to talk. My stomach dropped. I don't think we have anything to discuss. My son is in the hospital. Severe injuries from what police are calling a random assault. But we both know it wasn't random, don't we? Her voice turned sharp. You need to call off your boyfriend. Derek made a mistake, but he doesn't deserve this. I don't know what you're talking about. But ice flooded my veins. Derek and I broke up weeks ago. Whatever happened to him has nothing to do with me. Don't play stupid. I know who Dante Crusoe is. I know what he's capable of. And I know you're living with him. She paused. Call him off or I'm going to the police. I don't care what connections he has. I will not let him destroy my son. She hung up before I could respond. I immediately called Dante. Mia? What's wrong? He always seemed to know when something was off. Did you have Derek beaten up? Hospitalized? Silence. Then, I'm coming home. Don't talk to anyone until I get there. He arrived 20 minutes later, his expression carefully controlled. I was waiting by the door, arms crossed, needing answers. Did you do it? I demanded. Did you have Derek hurt? Let's sit down. Answer the question, Dante. You promised honesty. Did you do it? Yes. No apology in his voice. He called you yesterday using yet another burner phone. Told you he was going to keep trying until you agreed to see him. That's not acceptable, Mia. I made it clear what would happen if he contacted you again. So you had him beaten badly enough to put him in the hospital? My voice was shaking. That's not protection, Dante. That's excessive. Is it? He was escalating. Getting more desperate, more aggressive. The next step would have been showing up here at my home where you live. I prevented that. He moved closer but didn't touch me. I protected you from a man who refused to accept no for an answer. His mother called me. Threatened to go to the police. She won't. Dante's voice was certain. The Kane family has too many secrets of their own. Going to the police would expose things they'd prefer to keep hidden. She's bluffing. How can you be so sure? Because I make it my business to know everything about potential threats. Derek's father has been embezzling from his company for years. His mother has a gambling addiction she's hidden from everyone. Derek himself has been dealing drugs on the side to fund his lifestyle. He finally touched me, his hands on my shoulders. They're not going to the police, Mia. They can't afford the scrutiny. You investigated them. All of them. Of course I did. The moment I found out about their connections, I had my people dig into everything. That's what I do. I gather information, identify vulnerabilities, use them when necessary to protect what's mine. His grip tightened slightly. And you're mine to protect. Always. This is too much. I pulled away, needing space to think. You can't just hurt people because they annoy me. That's not how normal relationships work. This isn't a normal relationship. His voice was firm. You knew that when you agreed to be with me. Knew what I was capable of, what my world involved. Don't act surprised now when I do exactly what I warned you I would do. I thought you'd scare him, not hospitalize him. I did what was necessary to make sure he never bothers you again. Would you prefer I'd been gentle? Let him keep calling, keep trying, keep thinking he had a chance. Dante's eyes were hard. Because that's not how I operate, Mia. When someone threatens what's mine, I eliminate that threat completely. Permanently. No half measures. You're scaring me. The admission came out as a whisper. His expression immediately softened. I'm not going to hurt you. I could never hurt you. But I won't apologize for protecting you even if my methods scare you. He reached for me again, and this time I let him pull me close. I love you. Everything I do is to keep you safe. Can you understand that? I'm trying. I pressed my face against his chest. But Dante, you have to promise me something. No more violence without talking to me first. Someone threatens me, we discuss it. We decide together how to handle it. You don't just act unilaterally. I can't promise that. At my sharp look, he continued, if there's time to discuss it, we will. But if there's an immediate threat, I'm going to act first and explain later. That's non-negotiable. Your safety comes before everything, including your feelings about how I ensure that safety. That's not fair. Life isn't fair. My world isn't fair. And I'd rather you be angry with me and alive than happy with me and dead. He tilted my chin up. I know I'm controlling. I know I'm excessive. But I lost someone I loved once because I wasn't careful enough. I won't make that mistake again. Not with you. His intensity should have sent me running. Instead, it made something in me soften. This was Dante's love language. Protection, sometimes excessive, always absolute. Could I live with that? Okay, I said finally. But you have to at least tell me after. No keeping secrets about who you've hurt or threatened or scared. Complete honesty. Deal. He kissed my forehead. Now Derek's mother. If she calls again, don't answer. If she shows up here, security won't let her pass the lobby. And if she somehow does get to you, you call me immediately. Understood. Understood. I pulled back to look at him. Is this going to keep happening? People from my past becoming problems you have to handle? Possibly. Your ex's family connections make you a potential target. People might try to use you to get to me or vice versa. That's why security is so important. He moved to his laptop, pulling up footage. Look at this. These men have been watching the building for the past 3 days. The footage showed 2 men in a sedan, parked across the street, clearly surveilling the penthouse entrance. Who are they? Kane family associates. Probably trying to gather information, looking for vulnerabilities. I've had my people watching them, but they're getting bolder. His jaw tightened. This is exactly why I had to be aggressive with Derek. His family sees you as leverage now. They think if they can hurt you, they can hurt me. So what do? We handle it. I'm meeting with the Kane family tomorrow, making it clear that any further harassment will have severe consequences. And I'm upgrading security here. More cameras, more guards, better protocols. He closed the laptop. You won't even notice the changes, but you'll be safer. I'm not sure I can live like this. Looking over my shoulder, worrying about threats I can't see. You won't have to. That's what I'm here for. You just live your life, work on your designs, be happy. I'll handle the shadows. He pulled me close again. That's what love looks like in my world, Mia. Not flowers and poetry. Protection and vigilance. Making sure the people I love can sleep peacefully while I deal with the monsters. You make yourself sound like a hero. I'm not a hero. Heroes are selfless and noble. I'm selfish and ruthless and absolutely obsessed with keeping you safe. If that makes me a villain, so be it. His lips found mine. But I'm your villain. And I'll burn down anyone who tries to hurt you. That night I couldn't sleep. Dante's arm was around me, his breathing deep and even, but my mind wouldn't stop racing. Derek was in the hospital because of me. His family was watching the building because of me. I'd brought danger into Dante's life just by existing in his world. I can hear you overthinking, Dante murmured in the darkness. What's wrong? Maybe I should leave. Go somewhere far away where I'm not a liability to you. Absolutely not. He pulled me closer. You're not a liability, Mia. You're the best thing in my life. The only good thing I've had in years. And I'm not letting you go because some idiots think they can use you against me. But if I wasn't here, if you weren't here, I'd spend every moment looking for you, worrying about you, making myself insane wondering if you were safe. His voice was fierce in the darkness. You're not leaving. We're going to handle this together. Tomorrow I'll deal with the Kanes and then we're going to move forward with our lives. Understood. Dante. Understood. More command than question. Understood. I relaxed against him. But promise me something. If this gets too dangerous, if your enemies start really coming after me, you'll let me make my own choices about whether to stay. I promise. But I heard the lie in his voice. Dante would never let me go, not willingly. I'd become too important, too essential. For better or worse, I was his now. And maybe that was okay. Maybe love that intense, that protective, that all-consuming was exactly what I needed. What I'd been missing with Derek and every relationship before him. I love you, I whispered. I love you too. His arms tightened. More than you know. More than is probably healthy. But I can't help it. You're mine, Mia. Forever. Day 30. 1 month. For weeks since I'd sent that breakup text to the wrong number and changed my entire life. Dante had kept his promise about handling the Kanes. Whatever he'd done at that meeting, and he'd been vague about details which told me everything I needed to know. It had worked. No more surveillance. No more threatening phone calls. Derek had quietly transferred to a different city for medical treatment, and his family had stopped making noise about revenge. See, Dante had said when I asked how he'd managed it. Problems get handled. You just have to know the right pressure points. I didn't ask what pressure points he'd used. Some things I was learning were better left unknown. You've been quiet today, Bailey observed over lunch. We'd been trying to maintain our weekly brunches, though I'd missed a few recently. Everything okay with you and the mob boss? He's not a mob boss. He's mob adjacent. Even I didn't believe the distinction anymore. And everything's fine. Great, actually. He's been amazing. Amazing how? Amazing like romantic dinners and thoughtful gifts? Or amazing like making your enemies disappear? Both, if I'm being honest. I took a sip of my mimosa. Is it weird that I find the protective thing attractive? That knowing he'd literally kill for me makes me feel safe instead of scared? Yes, it's weird. It's also kind of hot, which makes us both terrible people. Bailey leaned forward. But seriously, Mia. Are you happy? Really happy? Or are you just caught up in the intensity? I'm happy. And I was. Despite the complications, despite the danger, despite moving at a pace that should have terrified me. He makes me feel valued and cherished and safe. I've never had that before. Never felt like someone would actually fight for me. Derek never fought for you because he was a coward who didn't appreciate what he had. Bailey squeezed my hand. I'm glad you found someone who does. Even if he's scary and dangerous and probably commits multiple felonies weekly. Probably more than weekly, I admitted. But he keeps that part separate. I know it exists, but I don't have to see it. He's just Dante with me. The man who makes me coffee in the morning and asks about my design projects and holds me when I can't sleep. You're in love with him. Not a question. Completely. Terrifyingly. Probably unwisely. But yes. I met her eyes. He asked me to marry him last night. What? Bailey's screech drew looks from nearby tables. He what? After a month? That's insane. I know it's fast. Fast? Mia, you've known him 30 days. That's not fast, that's certifiable. But she was smiling despite her words. What did you say? I said yes. I held up my left hand, where a simple but stunning diamond now rested. I know it's crazy. I know we should wait longer, be more sensible, take our time. But Bailey, when you know, you know. And I know I want to spend my life with him. You're getting married to a man you met via wrong number text. She shook her head, laughing. This is the most insane thing you've ever done. I'm so proud of you. Really. Really. You're being reckless and impulsive and living your life instead of playing it safe. That's growth, even if it's slightly terrifying growth. She examined the ring more closely. This is gorgeous. He has good taste. He has expensive taste. I tried to tell him this was too much, but he said nothing's too much for his wife. The word felt strange and wonderful on my tongue. Wife. I'm going to be someone's wife. Dante's wife. Which comes with protection and luxury and probably a lot of morally questionable situations. Bailey's expression turned serious. But if this is what you want, if he makes you happy, then I support it completely. Just promise me you won't lose yourself in this. You're still Mia with your own dreams and goals and identity. I promise. I meant it. Actually, Dante's been encouraging me to pursue bigger design projects. He introduced me to some of his business contacts and I've already landed 3 major clients. My income has tripled in the past 2 weeks. Because of his connections. Partly. But also because my work is good and these clients appreciate that. I'm not just Dante's girlfriend, sorry fiancé. I'm a talented designer who happens to be engaged to a very connected man. There's a difference. We spent the rest of lunch planning a wedding that would probably happen much sooner than traditional. Dante wanted to make it official quickly, and honestly, I didn't see the point in waiting. We were already living together, already committed. The wedding was just making official what we both already felt. That evening, I came home to find Dante in the kitchen, cooking dinner and looking domestically perfect despite probably having spent his day doing things I was better off not knowing about. Hey, beautiful. He pulled me in for a kiss that tasted like wine and promises. How was Bailey? Shocked that I said yes to your proposal. Supportive but concerned. The usual Bailey response to my life choices. I wrapped my arms around his waist. She thinks we're moving too fast. We are. No denial. But fast doesn't mean wrong. I knew I wanted to marry you the moment you sent that text meant for someone else. Finding you was fate, Mia. I'm not wasting time when I know what I want. And what do you want? Forever. Officially mine in every way possible. His hands found my hips. I want to wake up every morning knowing you're my wife. Want to introduce you as Mrs. Caruso. Want to build a life that's ours, not just mine or yours, but ours together. Mrs. Caruso. I tested the name. Mia Caruso. It has a nice ring to it. It's perfect. You're perfect. He kissed me again, deeper this time. I love you so much it scares me sometimes. The thought of losing you, of anything happening to you. Nothing's going to happen to me. You won't let it. I touched his face. That's what you do, right? Protect what's yours? Well, I'm yours. So I'm probably the safest person in this entire city. Damn right you are. His smile was fierce and possessive. Anyone who even looks at you wrong answers to me. You're under my protection for life now. That's what this ring means. I thought it meant you love me and want to marry me. That too. But in my world, marriage is protection. It's me declaring to everyone that you're mine, that threatening you means starting a war they can't win. He turned back to the stove. Dinner's almost ready. Open the wine. The good bottle, not the everyday stuff. What are we celebrating beyond our engagement? New beginning. Fresh start. The future we're building together. He plated food with careful precision. Also, I finalized some business today that means I can step back from the more dangerous aspects of my work. Focus on the legitimate operations, spend more time with you. Really? You're retiring from being a fixer. Not retiring completely. I'll still consult, still maintain relationships. But the day-to-day enforcement, the hands-on violence, I'm delegating that to people I trust. I want to be present for our life together, Mia. Want to build something beyond just surviving in a dangerous world. What changed your mind? You did. He set our plates on the table. Realizing I want a future with you made me reevaluate my priorities. The money's good, the power's useful, but none of it matters if I'm not alive to enjoy it with you. So I'm making changes. Becoming the man you deserve instead of just the man I've always been. Tears threatened. That's the most romantic thing anyone's ever said to me. Get used to it. I plan to spend the rest of our lives being disgustingly romantic with you. He raised his wine glass. To us. To wrong numbers and right timing. To finding love in the most unexpected places. To us. I clinked my glass against his. And to being reckless enough to say yes to a man I met through a text meant for someone else. Best wrong number ever sent. 6 months later. The wedding was small and intimate. Just family and close friends in a beautiful venue that Dante had somehow secured on short notice. Bailey stood as my maid of honor, crying through the entire ceremony. Dante's mother, who I'd met 3 times and already loved, kept hugging me and calling me her daughter. You make him happy, she'd said the night before. I see him smile again. Laugh again. That's all a mother wants for her son. Now, as I stood in my simple white dress, looking at Dante in his perfectly tailored suit, I couldn't quite believe this was my life. That the man who'd responded to my angry breakup text had become my husband. That the danger and complications and intensity had somehow resulted in the deepest love I'd ever known. I love you, Dante said when it was time for vows. From the moment you accidentally texted me, you've been the most interesting, unexpected, perfect thing in my life. You saw past what I do to who I am. You accepted my world without losing yourself in it. You made me want to be better, safer, more present. So I'm promising you now, I'll protect you always. Love you completely. Be the man you deserve every day for the rest of our lives. I was crying by the time he finished. I love you too. You saved me when I didn't even know I needed saving. You showed me what it means to be valued and cherished and fought for. You're dangerous and protective and absolutely perfect for me. So I'm promising you now, I'll trust you always. Love you completely. Be your partner in everything for the rest of our lives. When we kissed as husband and wife, the small crowd erupted in applause. But I barely heard them. All I could focus on was Dante, his arms around me, his whispered mine against my lips. At the reception, Derek's name came up exactly once. Someone asked if I'd invited my ex and Bailey had laughed. Her ex is persona non grata. Last I heard, he's living in Seattle and has been instructed very clearly to never return to this city. Isn't that right, Dante? I have no idea what you're talking about. But Dante's smile was wicked. Though I did hear he's doing well in his new city. Much better for his health to be far away from here. Later, in the car heading to our honeymoon destination, a private island Dante had rented for 2 weeks, I leaned against my husband and smiled. What are you thinking? He asked, his arm around me. That I'm glad I sent that text to the wrong number. That the worst night of my life led to the best thing that ever happened to me. That sometimes the universe knows exactly what it's doing when it throws chaos at us. Poetic. He kissed the top of my head. Want to know what I'm thinking? Always. That I'm the luckiest man alive. That I get to spend the rest of my life with the woman who accidentally wandered into my world and decided to stay. That wrong numbers can lead to very right outcomes. His arms tightened around me. I love you, Mrs. Caruso. I love you too, Mr. Caruso. My accidental husband. My wrong number turned right. Best wrong number in history. And as we drove toward our future, complicated and dangerous and absolutely perfect, I couldn't help but agree.